Hello and welcome to Thursday Lines. I'm your host for today, Nikki. Thursday Lines is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, topsport.com.au, The Comics Lounge and Punting Form. MG's in the studio with me. How are you, MG?
Nikki.
3 weeks in a row.
Oh, you kicked OV off the show. I can't believe it. He called me during the week. He can't get his chair back. He left, called you in for a week, and now you've taken over his spot for the rest of the year, I hear. So
hey, listen, you give us Group 1 people a chance and we're going to take it.
Yeah, just for any OB fans out there, he's changed up his jobs from the AFL and gone to Cricket Australia. So he's just handling his new schedule. So yeah, Nikki's pushed her way back in and not letting him back in the hosting chair. So he'll make it back for one show, Toprope. He wants a send-off show with cake and balloons and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get him in for a send-off show of some description.
What do you mean host for this week, Nikki? This is like when Joe Pesci character in Casino got taken out to the desert and buried deep. We'll never want to see OB again. He's gone. He is gone. Got the Sylvester fever.
What's the news for me in the AFL? What news happened out of round 19?
It's a big week.
I know.
Unbelievable games. Really exciting. So yeah, we'll cover those more in the results. But it was maybe saw the grand final preview, which was a cracking game over between Collingwood and Port Adelaide. So yeah, some three good comebacks as well. So yeah, if you're watching the AFL, you would have had a good week of watching sport. And then obviously we'll cover all the other sport, which was an amazing week of sport, really. They were coming in all directions, and lucky we've got a few screens downstairs to cover it. A few screens? You've got more than enough screens down there to keep all your punting things happy. Toprope, can I just quickly touch on the NRL? Do you think that these bans that they're now, with all the suspensions for the players, I reckon PVL is dead set trying to keep Penrith on top of the ladder because he's going after the Cowboys and he's coming for the Broncos because the only two teams who can probably beat Penrith, and that's it. Like, that's my decision. You can't take it off me. But I think it's highly sus. Highly sus.
I think there's plenty of PVLs highly sus at the moment. He's treading with the NRLPA, the more than dodgy officiating.
Exactly.
So, the centre of the rugby, I'm not sure the centre of the cricket world moved 20 years ago from England to India. The centre of the rugby league world has certainly shifted from Manly Roosters of the world in the eastern side of Northern Beaches to Western Sydney. And there is absolutely no doubt in the world that PVL sees a benefit of Penrith or Parramatta winning Premiership after Premiership. Now, do I think he's orchestrating it for Penrith? No, but I think Penrith are getting every advantage they can. So, I don't know if I go to part of the high levels of corruption, but I think he's certainly willing to give the 50-50 calls to Penrith, and that's going to go Penrith's way every single week.
I would agree with that.
Love a conspiracy theory.
Oh, I've got unbelievable.
I conspiracy. I actually don't believe it's particularly orchestrated, or I just think that's just where the balance of power is. I don't think they're going out of their way to try and gift patronage. Go to the best team in the comp. They've deserved their standing as to where they are. Yeah, they're not doing anything wrong. But I just think every 50-50 decision goes their way. And it happens week after week. And I don't think it's a conspiracy. I don't think anyone's going out of their way to do it. I just think there's typically a natural bias towards good teams. That always happens in every sport. Good teams tend to get better calls. But because of the difference between how good Penrith are compared to the rest of the competition, plus the clear financial benefits to the NRL of rugby league being better out west. Yeah, we've seen in the last half a decade the complete demise of GWS as a relative competitor to rugby league in Western Sydney. They actually don't exist anymore. I mean, it's just the threat of rugby union was never really there. Yeah, obviously soccer plays a role out there, but rugby league as well truly reasserted its dominance in Western Sydney. I don't think there's any more coincidence.
What about the players? Are they heading for a strike here? Are we going to get the season done, or are they just both posturing still?
No, there won't be a strike, but I think we're going to see everything but. It's been disgraceful how the NRL handled this. Absolutely disgraceful. To come out and claim that the RLPA were only defending Polynesian players for their own power, it is utterly preposterous. Here's an inside, exclusive to Little Birdie and a little inside scoop. the NRL have not paid the female All-Stars, Indigenous and married All-Stars, from their All-Stars game at the start of the season. They've withheld 20% as leverage for those negotiations. They haven't paid them for. Utterly obscene. So, but the NRL is thinking they can take that position. It's just ridiculous. I don't think what the ARLP are asking. Well, they're not asking for money. People are saying, well, we're giving you more money. That's not the point. This is about, rights, procedural fairness. Looking at what I would be a picture, I've got an international, I'll be like, I think the NRL is probably more picking this. I think they're not negotiating in good faith. I think it's been disgraceful. So I don't know what's going to strike, but we're going to see no more players talking to the media. We're not going to get obviously the logo is covered this week. I think we're going to the point. I would be stunned if there was a Dalian medal like this year. I think it will be
plenty going on.
Shall we cover round 19 some scores?
Yep. Yeah, so AFL's been a much quieter week than the NRL. So
well, hang on, we might have a coach sacking. Come on.
Oh, coach sacking. Geez, early mail from Nikki. Round 19 results. We'll just run through them here. The Bulldogs, very comprehensive over your team, Nikki. They were forgot to show up the Bombers. Let's be honest, they were poor. One-trick ponies at Essendon. The Bulldogs covered their game plan A and didn't work, and they got smashed. Very good match, Richmond and Hawthorn, although side note that Hawthorn choked hard on that game and allowed Richmond back in to win by a point. It was an exciting finish. Carlton, the Blues, they're on fire, beating all the weak teams in the comp by 71 points. They got a real test coming up this week. I know what a good side is. Brisbane, Geelong, geez, we built this game up. It was very disappointing. Very much a defensive game. Brisbane were able to eke out the win. I think even though it was low scoring, the scoreboard flattered Geelong. Brisbane's defence was all over them. Sydney got a very vital win to keep their season alive, and at the same token, end Freos. They've been very disappointing this year. One of the games of the season, we had back-to-back weeks where potential game of the season is Collingwood Port, 1 and 2. We built it up. It was an unbelievable game. Even the weather couldn't destroy this one, and Collingwood have done it again. They've come down from 17 points down, 15 at the three-quarter time to run over them, keep top spot. Unbelievable performance. Well worth watching the replay if you missed it. The Giants crushed Gold Coast, who have been very disappointing, and the Giants now 6 in a row and inside the 8. It's an unbelievable comeback. I think they were 4 and 8 at one stage, so they have been some story this year. Melbourne and Adelaide, a very good match this actually. Adelaide kept coming back a few times. They were down more than 3 goals, but Melbourne managed to cling on there. Adelaide's poor goal kicking cost them another win for the year, and what a shocker the last game was, St Kilda and Kangaroos.
2 weeks in
Let's
a row.
not mention that. Yeah, St Kilda got the win, but geez, just disastrous. Kangaroos actually choked in that game. They had St Kilda dead to rights and couldn't get the job done. So, yeah, very good round 19, and we've got some good games coming up in round 20.
Oh, my God, I'm so excited. It's the best time of the year. Okay, let's go to some stats quickly. So we had 8 out of 9 faves, 4 of 9 covers, 5 of 9 over totals, 6 of 9 home teams. And for the season, 67% of faves, 48% of covers, 52% over totals, and 51% for the home team.
Yeah, very much favourites week. 8 out of 9, they ran pretty true. Not all covered, though, so the bookies did have an out there. Even scoring, but it was a very good week, very good punting week as well.
Okay, that's what we like, some punting. Okay, top rope, let's have a quick look at round 21 for the NRL.
Here, the Dragons snuck over the Tigers. They're down 14 in a battle between the 2 worst teams in the competition. A very, very low match there, but Dragons come back and got the win there. From a betting point of view, -3.5 early jumped 4.5. So the finish in 4 could have been a real win, or could have been a disaster, depending on where you landed. Warriors Raiders, you want horrible beat stories of the week. Those who took the under 40.5 early when the weather got. The Warriors led 20-10 with 65 seconds left. Someone conceded 10 points, 2 tries in the last 65 seconds, and Warriors stuck on 21-20, but I will never forgive them. Never forgive them.
They've got life.
Classic New Zealand. Okay, the Rabbitohs 36-20. The Rabbitohs, Latrell Mitchell comeback aborted late, but Brocos very impressive in the second half. Put the Rabbitohs to the sword. They were very, very poor. Coney Walker had one of his worst games. Roosters 36-8 over the Tigers. That was 30-0. At half time on that one, the Roosters, it was I'd say impressive without being over the top impressive. They kind of certainly got some freedom in their attack, but do fail to put the Titans away to the sword. So a little disappointing there, but they've had a big game this week. Storm led 12-0 after, I think, 7 minutes against the Knights. It looked like they were going to run away, so conceded 26 points. The Knights, big upset, winning 26-18 over a very disappointing Storm. Hopefully, Tariq Sims never sees a first grade game again for Melbourne. Cowboys and Parramatta reversed the score from earlier in the year, 24-16. Cowboys got the job done there, survived a late Eels comeback, but always in trouble. Penrith 44, Bulldogs 18, probably the best possible result for the Bulldogs there. They were down, I think, 24-0 after 18 minutes. It looked like they could have made 70. Never, as a Bulldogs fan, never been happy to concede just 44 points. Very well in the game, but they did cover the massive line of 31.5, the second biggest line since I've been keeping records for the last 15 years. And Manly was 30-0 against the Sharks. Huge comeback, 30-26. Almost got their Cronulla, but Manly just held on sharper.
Thanks, Toprope. Okay, well, we're going to have a quick look at the stats. Here we go. So 6 of 8 faves, 3 of 8 covers, 5 of 8 over totals, and 5 of 7 for the home teams. And for the season, we sit at 66% of faves, 47% of covers, 50% over totals, and 56% for the home team.
Yeah, we're not seeing a lot of angles there. Favourites are winning, not all what it's covering here. So last week, 3 favourites, 1 above the cover. There were some bigger lines, so that's not bound to happen more late in the year. It's not a huge outlier into the trends at the moment.
Thanks, Toprope. Okay, now we've covered the top Australian sport, so we're going to have a quick wrap of the global wrap for sport around the globe this weekend.
Yeah, the fourth test, it depends on how you look at it, but from a contest point of view, unfortunately, the English weather in the summer caused a drawn game. They never got much play in the last 2 days, so I'm not sure what was worse, the English weather raining for that, or just the English sooking it up for the last almost week now. They're still going on at this morning's press conferences, so they've got to let it go. It's cricket. It's played outdoors, 100%. And it's in their own backyard.
And you live in England. Like, come on, your weather's not exactly amazing.
It is cricket and it's played outdoors, but I don't know why you can't play in the rain. Like, they managed to play it out. They managed to get the Open Championship finish. Come on, in.
Well, that's wrong.
It's absolutely ridiculous how they do not play cricket in the rain. Absolutely ridiculous.
They had puddles on the field.
So what? There's puddles on the field in every game of rugby league, AFL, soccer. Play on. Man up.
Clearly haven't played cricket in the wet.
That's why I played cricket in the wet. That's what the game was pretty damn quickly.
Well, it would have. So anyway, disappointing. Aussies, very flat. The series has been awesome, all 3.5 tests worth, and then not to have it go 2-2. And I think even the Aussies would have conceded. It would have been awesome having 2-2 going into a live 5th test.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
They've got something to play for. The Aussies haven't actually won the Ashes in England for 2 decades or whatever it is. So they've got something to play for. But, the English, I think they might stink it up in this game because they're very flat and they've probably had a few lagers through the way.
Yeah, then the mentality's not exactly in the right spot to keep going, even to draw once you've lost it. So that's it. And we had the British Open, as you touched on. We had Brian Harman. He was right up there from round 1, right? I don't think he led all the way, but he was pretty good.
For starters, Nikki, we're not going to call the British Open on this show. We're going to call the Open Championship. Great name. Sorry to be pedantic around that one, but I mean, it's also British Open. Brian Harman, really ruined the Open Championship. It was.
He's a lefty, isn't he? Like he plays.
He's just one of these. He's consistent. He's always kind of been knocking on the door, but 1 by 6 shots. Oh, MG, if you would have been more bored in the final round of an Open Championship.
Yeah, well, I think I spoke to a few. It was like if you took the leader out, I know you can't do that, but geez, the rest of the tournament would have been awesome going into it. So, when you say he did ruin it from both a viewership point of view and definitely from a betting point of view. Unfortunately, sometimes that happens. But the runner for second and what was it, a 4-way tie, I think, or 3-way tie for third. So for second, sorry. So it was good to see Jason Day, unbelievable finish. I think what did they say? He's only the 9th player in history to finish runner up in all 4 majors. So there's a little out wide stat, but a bit disappointing there. Toprope for what was a terrific tournament.
And we've got the girls in the soccer. They continue tonight. So go through some quick odds there. USA 355, Spain's 395, England 7, Germany 725, Australia 13. Probably just out a little bit with the news that the girls are just those 2 girls are injured as well.
Yeah, a couple of injuries. Toprope's pre-tournament tips been well supported there. I think they were $9 Toprope, if I don't stand corrected, into $7.25 now. Spain are the other ones that have come into strong second favourites. The Aussies have just drifted a bit, and a couple down the bottom. Brazil have come from nowhere. They're now into $14, and Japan into 21 as well. So, yeah, it's wide open still. And, the big game tonight, the Aussies go round against Nigeria. We can see the prices there. Australia have actually drifted 138 now out to 151 on the back of having two injuries, training mishaps, both of them having concussion, and they're not necessarily back for the third match. So this is very important for us to beat Nigeria to make sure the third match is dead rubber. So if we win tonight, we obviously advance. So as you can see there, Nigeria 625 and the draw is 420 at Topsport.
Okay, 8 o'clock tonight. Make sure you are watching or get yourself down to the game if you can get a ticket. All right, now it is time for Thursday Lines, proudly brought to you by topsport.com.au. Family owned and operated for over 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with TopSport. Let's get going.
Yeah, Premiership betting. Collingwood just firmed a little, obviously knocking off Port. So there's a bit of separation there. Collingwood look like finish on top if they run true in the draw. And then we've got a three-way go. So, very interesting. The top four is pretty much confirmed now. So I don't think there'll be too much changes as long as they all run out. And then, we distance out pretty quick. Geelong are obviously they're probably the fifth side, but they're still yet to make the finals. And they've got an interesting draw as well. But then, get out to Carlton Bulldogs and you can have the rest. But, it's all Collingwood at this stage. So I'm tipping for the bookies, Collingwood and Penrith are
not going to be a good result.
Not great results.
No, and also bookies. I think if you throw Dacos in the mix there as well, if he gets the Brownlow, it's going to be...
Could be carnage.
That'll be a woeful weekend to be a bookie's wife. Okay. So let's have a quick look at your AFL stings. Round 19, we only got one of three. So just a slight minus there. And then for the season, you are still sitting at 8.44%. Talk me through it.
Yeah, it's quite weak.
You struggled to find a bet.
I did, last week's podcast. I just couldn't get into the week at all. Everything kind of matched up within parameters. Couldn't really get a bet out. Unfortunately, the two lines that we lost on, Richmond come back and won the game, but never looked like covering. Double pumped that one. Pretty keen on Collingwood, which got the chocolates again in a tight one, though, against Port Adelaide. And Melbourne, I thought we were going to get the business. So that made the difference between a winning and a losing weekend. Melbourne twice were above the line and then choked it up hard. And then Adelaide came back, but Melbourne just got the victories. But very quiet week, but good news for punters who follow the Stings. We've got plenty of action coming up this week. This week is back to normal.
Oh, jam-packed. I can't wait to get on the little
keen on a few. So, I'll be disappointed if there's not a winning week ahead.
It's going to be winning. I know it is. Okay. Toprope, can we have a look at some premiership prices? And if we take out the Panthers, do you rate the Broncos? Because come on. I mean, I'm impressed. I know you don't like them, but I'm impressed. I'm going to have something on them.
No, I don't rate the Broncos, but I was especially the price. I think they're coached by Nikki for starters. They're very, very good at making bad sides look really bad. And look, the Liverpool against South, they certainly had to do a double take last week. They were very impressive there. Yeah, South were without the choice. South were very, very poor last week. And I've no idea how South and Turks are. If I'm going to get the trial back this week, it's going to be a big mark out there going there. The only team I would want to be on of that lot there, other than Penrith, is the Cowboys. And I'm not. Yeah, they've got. I don't think they're sitting inside the top 8 at the moment. They're just stuck in the weights this week. So, I think it's going to be a tough road anyway to beat Penrith this year.
Okay, let's have a look at some NRL GGOA. So we had 2 of 5, a little bit of a loss there. And for the season, we are still sitting at -10, but we're on the comeback. We're on the comeback train.
I hope so, Nikki, because it's been a diabolical in the last 4 to 6 weeks. So, in all our results going away, some deserved, some not so deserved. But the big loss last week was Melbourne laying a big start. I was happy to tick that up after 10 minutes, but I never looked like that after that. So, we'll be back to the drawing board and got a fairly compelling week this week now. I think we've got bets in, maybe 6 of the games this week. So, big week.
Okay. All right. Now, punters, if you haven't signed up for the GGOA or the Stings, you really need to, and you can do so on the Little Birdie Live TV shop. You've heard from both of the boys. They've got big weeks coming, and obviously we're at the serious end of the season. So GGOA and AFL Stings, you need to get them. Let's have a look at the first AFL match because it should be a good one. I don't think Carlton stand a chance, but here we go. Friday night, 7:50 at the G. Carlton versus Collingwood. Collingwood $1.34, Carlton $3.10. The line is 17.5, over under 159.5.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. I feel like a bit top rope tipping the Storm all the time. Really jumped on the Collingwood train and just going to keep riding it to the station at this stage. They got the chocolates for us last week. Really keen on them this week. Yeah. We got into them early when the bookies posted 13. The betting's now jumped to 17. Carlton have got some injuries. Obviously, teams will come out later today. Collingwood does have a couple of players that may be sick, but they've been told that they're going to play if it takes anything out of them. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Collingwood have won 13 of their last 14. Both have won 5 straight. So the difference is in form is Collingwood have been playing against better opposition. Yeah. Carlton have knocked off, some 4 or 5 of the weeks that 4 or 5 of the wins have been against average teams, but they have won all of them by 50 plus. So there's no pot on that thing. It's just on that side of the form line. I just think they're coming up a really good side. Curnow won't be able to breathe in that defence, and I think they'll take full charge. Head-to-head, Collingwood are dominating this team. 15 of the last 20 they've won. And I just think that, the betting will only go one way there. I've seen some 18s this morning on the line. This may push closer to 20 when the teams come out if all those Collingwood players. Very keen on Collingwood. I think there'll be points in this game as well, both trending towards the overs, 158, 159. I think the weather will be early tomorrow morning. I know the forecast is for rain. It'll clear in the afternoon. So I think there'll be points. Collingwood will dominate. I think they'll cover this line easily.
Of course they will. It is going to be a super game and probably a packed crowd at the G. Okay, and then what is going to be a good game tonight? The Broncos and the Roosters. The Broncos $1.37, the Roosters $3.10. The line is 8.5, over under 43.5. To be honest, I really don't know who I want to cheer more for here.
You know you want to cheer, and I'm not sure who to cheer either here. I can't. That's one of the red games. I can't really find a bet that I'm super keen on tonight. The thoughts were the Roosters are probably a touch of overs there. They've won the last 3 against the Brocos, but they are very, very poor as a big underdog. Covered just 2 of their last 8 as an underdog of 8 or more. They've covered just 1 of their last 8 against top 8 teams, and they've covered just 4 of the last 12 away from Eels. Brocos, 10-0 performance for a good attacking performance, covered 6 of 9 or scoring 36 plus, but they failed to cover their last 3 and favoured by more than 8. No view of this side here. Only been this game, probably going to take the over. The last 6 matches going to have hit 44 points, and the Roosters are a pretty big over spot here. Their overs hit 11 with 17 off conceding 36 plus. So leaning the over here, but nothing too strong.
Thanks, Toprope. Okay, now we're going to go straight to Adelaide and Port Adelaide. Here we go. Saturday, Adelaide $2.90, Port Adelaide $1.40. The line 16.5, and the over under 175.5 for the derby.
The showdown. Mm-hmm. Yes. Looking forward to this one. Unfortunately, Adelaide have had some injuries. They've lost Murray, and also Rankin has come out as well, so that will hurt them. They are off a 6-day break, which I never really like. Adelaide have unfortunately lost their last 3. Port have now lost their last 2 after their big winning streak. Both been close games. Collingwood was a close game last week. Just a bit of a letdown factor maybe here for Port. I'm not going to get involved in the line. It's been very steady around that 16, 17 points. I think that's about fair. I just think there'll be points in this game. The stats are pretty even between the two. Adelaide actually have a slight winning edge over the last 22 games, so 12-10. So it could be a bit of a trap game for favourite punters if you're on Port. Yeah. Just as I said, coming off the Collingwood game, off the wet as well, Adelaide might be up for this. They've got to win out now to have any chance of playing the finals. Keen on the total here. The bookies posted at least a goal too low in my eyes, 168.5 with the history here. Too low. It's already moved up 7 and 8 points, so we got into it early. I think this will be heading towards 180, so not tipping in now. You've missed the value. You need to get in early in the week, but just stat-wise, Adelaide 5 of the last 7 have gone over. Port 6 of their last 7 have gone over, and head-to-head 14 and 8. So they have a very high average of 181 points per game in this game. So I think there'll be points. They played earlier this year in round 3, and the total was 203 points. So expecting plenty of goals, like the over.
Goals and overs. All right. Thanks there, MG. Okay, now we're going to go straight to the Storm and the Eels. On Friday night, we've got the Storm at $1.48, Parramatta $2.65. The line is 6.5, and the over under 42.5. Toprope.
Yeah, managed to find the game. I'm not super keen. Probably lean towards Melbourne here. Craig Bellamy has really cracked the shits this week and waved the ass, which is rare for him. So China going to get a spark going. Justin Law's been dropped. Luke Sims suspended, but would have been dropped. Tarima Smith dropped. Big Nelson out, but Eels missing a ton of troops. No Michael Sevo, Dylan Brown. No, Regan Campbell-Gillard, among others. Key here is Eels are very poor troubles. Covered just 3 of their last 13 in the state. Storm have covered 4 straight of conceding 24 plus. They've covered 7 out of 27 at home. Probably lean slightly towards the Storm here without getting too excitable.
Oh, I love the Storm when Bellamy has just ran rampant through them, and then the next week, so come on, like that would be on the back of a best spray ever, and there's none better than Bellamy to head it out. Okay, so for the third match we're going to cover, we've got Richmond and Melbourne. This should actually be okay on Sunday, Arvo. So what have we got? Richmond $2.55, Melbourne $1.49, the line 11.5, and the over/under 167.5.
Yeah, Nick, this is a highlight for the Sunday. It'd be a great game. It's 10th v 4th, so Melbourne need to keep winning to keep locking up that 4th spot from the Challengers. Richmond sitting 10th at the moment. They need to probably win 4 of their 5 to make finals. They've won 6 of their last 7. Both of these teams are on a 3-game winning streak, and Melbourne have won their last 3 against Richmond. So all things kind of line up. There has been money for Richmond, plus 13.5 down to 11.5. I think the betting's about right. I can't make a play on either side at this stage. I think there'll be points in this game. The stats maybe don't back it up. 11 of the last 14 have gone under head-to-head between them, only have an average of 160 points per game. But just the way their styles of the two teams are going at the moment, Richmond 4 out of their last 5 have gone over, Melbourne 2 straight over. I just think 164 was too low. It's crept up to 167. I think it'll head towards 170 here. Be a cracking game. Both need to win for different reasons. I think the offenses will play a part, and there'll be plenty of points for the overs.
Now we're going to head to Saturday night for the Panthers and the Sharks. Penrith $1.13. The Cronulla is $6 for the Sharkies, and the line is 16 and over/under 42.5. Toprope only going to be one way here.
Well, what about the demise of Cronulla? Hasn't it gone ugly for the Sharkies? Keen on Penrith. Penrith has obviously got a good record against Cronulla, won 5 of their last 6. The last 3 that were Penrith have all been won by double digits. They've covered 22 of 33 at home, 21 of 29 at home at night. This is just a good spot for them. They've covered 7 of 10 when favourable by more than 14.5. Cronulla got a very poor record against top 4 teams, covered just 9 of 22. Got to be with the Panthers as well.
Okay, the Panthers there, no surprise. All right, let's quickly run through the remaining NRL games. Okay, we've got the West Tigers taking on the Rabbitohs. The West Tigers, 8.50s. The Rabbitohs are $1.07. The line is 20.5, over/under 48.5. Ooh.
Yeah, it's this goes off to country cigars up from Tamworth there. So that's a good record against the Tigers, but the Tigers, they've covered 8 of 11 off getting Adam and more. Can't have a side bet there, but lean towards South, but betting the over here, that's the confident bet here. Every game at Tamworth is played in North Court over the total. Tigers 14-7 over when a dog of 12.5 or more, 10 of 4 Souths when they're over double digit over.
Okay, all right, the overs there. And then we're going to head straight to the Raiders and the Knights. The Raiders $1.65, the Knights $2.25. The line is only 3.5 and the over/under 45.5.
Yeah, the Raiders are favourites here, so that's an absolute bet against spot here. They've come into 7 out of 52 as a favourite, 12 of 42 and favoured by 4 or more, which the line has got to a huge on it. So Newcastle, they've covered 6 straight against Canberra. They've played them well. They're in form. They've covered 4 or 5 for winning. Going to admit the Knights here and a good degree of confidence.
Ooh, the Knights. Okay, I like it. Okay, the Dragons and Manly. The Dragons are $2.80. Manly $1.44. The line is 6.5, over/under 45.5.
Yeah, this is a game based completely on recency bias. There's no way Manly should favour by 6.5 on the road. Particularly out of Sydney here, Scouts in Wollongong. The Dragons have covered 7 of their last 9 against, so won 7 of their last 9 against Manly. They've covered 6 of those. They've won 8 straight in Wollongong against Manly. Most important, the Dragons, they are 9 of 4 against the spread in their last 13 in Wollongong. Manly, they've covered 13 of 32 on the road when favoured by 4 or more. No Toprope advantage either. Absolute, very confident, the Dragons here.
Oh, the Dragons, I love it. Okay, and then Sunday afternoon, the Bulldogs are taking on the Dolphins. Bulldogs $2.30, the Dolphins $1.62. The line is 3.5, over/under 49.5.
Yep, just came up in Bundaberg. 2 rubbish teams. The Dogs, the Dogs have been conceding 45 points a game in the last 7 days. Absolutely record-breaking stuff. That's horrific. The Dolphins, look, they've got Hammerman at fullback, which is a good sign for them. Deserved favourites here, the Dolphins, the game in Queensland, but no real edge there. Where there is an edge at the total here, I'll be betting this. I'll be betting the Larry 61 plus for the Ric Flair punters out there. The over is in 6 straight Bulldogs games. There's 3-0. There was 3-0 North conceding 40 plus. There was 5-1 in Dolphins Day games. Both teams think tackling is optional at the moment. I'm very keen on the over in this.
All right, the over there and a little bit of the Ric Flair. Okay, and then Sunday afternoon game, Gold Coast and the Cowboys. Gold Coast is $3.25, North Queensland $1.34. The line 8.5, over under 47.5.
Yeah, I like the Cowboys here. We don't see to try and bring a bit of a concern, but the Titans can't tackle, and the Cowboys are in a rich vein of form with their attack. So, goes 14 of 19 when favored by 6.5 or more, 3 of 4 when favored by 6.5 or more on the road. They've covered their last 3 road games, their last 3 day games. The Titans have covered just 2 of the last 8 as a home underdog. Yeah, keen on the Cowboys.
All right, Cowboys and some points. Thank you. Let's cover the last 6 games for the AFL. MG, here we go. Geelong and the Dockers. Geelong 107, Dockers 775. The line's 45.5, over under 168.5.
Yeah, big line. All for Geelong, moved up from 42 to 45. Fremantle looked shot. They've lost their last 4, lost 6 of their last 7. Their season was extinguished last week. Geelong at home, Nikki, you know the record. Tough to go against them. So
can't go against the Pussycats at home.
Can't tip into a 45 line, so this will be a sit and watch game for me. But yeah, I think Geelong will win by as much as they like.
Sit and watch while you're watching the ponies at the Valley. Okay, and then so Saturday afternoon, the other game is the Western Bulldogs and GWS. This should be okay. The Bulldogs $1.55, GWS $2.40. The line 11.5, and the over under 155.5. Yeah,
good match. 2 top 8 sides, 5th v 7th, both needing to win a few. It's not a do or die match, more so for the Giants, but the Bulldogs probably don't want to drop this at Mars Stadium here, so it could be a weather watch. Definitely watch the wind in this game if you are betting. Both had 10 wins for the season. Bulldogs coming off a win last week. Giants have now won 6 in a row, so they're in very good form. And the Bulldogs have owned the Giants of late. They've won their last 5 straight. So I don't like the Giants off a 6-day break. It's always a factor I don't like in. And of their 6 wins, they've only beaten 1 good side, 5 very ordinary sides. So I think this might be a bit of a trap game. I'm going to stay out of it. And it's definitely a total watch. Low total 154.5 with at Mars.
Thanks, MG. Okay, and we go straight to the Gold Coast and Brisbane Lions. Gold Coast $3.45, Brisbane Lions $1.29. The line is 20.5, and the over under 166.5.
Yeah, the Q clash on the Gold Coast. I think Gold Coast are done. They're 14th on the ladder. Brisbane are sailing along at 3rd. Brisbane have got a dominant record here. They've won their last 9 straight against the Suns. 5 of those have been at the Gold Coast, so they hold no fear going there. Can't find a play here. The early money is for the Gold Coast, 22 down to 20, so there is some money out there for the Gold Coast. I can't come into it myself. 7 of the last 8 games have gone over, so expect plenty of points in this game. But yeah, not a betting game for me, but hopefully Brisbane just tick off the W.
Of course, we're just cheering Brisbane home at this point. Hey, and another potentially low game. The Bombers and the Swans. The Bombers $2.15, Swans $1.67. The line 3.5, over under 171.5.
Sure, you'll be getting along to this to support your Bombers at the Dome Saturday night?
Surely not.
Yeah, well, it's a big game. 11th v 12th on the ladder, both fighting for their top 8 spots here. Essendon have got their own destiny in their hands. They've got a reasonable draw. If they can get over Sydney this week, they play both Kangaroos and West Coast going forward. So the big game for Essendon, they can really stitch up their final 8 spot. They're 4 out of 5 at the ground this year. The problem is they've lost a few players. String is probably going to be out. They've lost 2 in a row, whereas Sydney have just got a dominant record over Essendon. They're 12-4, which is the holding stat. Can't believe that the bookies posted Sydney favourite in this game. There was much as 5.5 plus last week. That was too much for myself. Had to dive in and then continue this week. Now they're minus 4 or 5 point favourites. Betting's where it is now, but yeah, I favour Sydney in this. I think they're back and they need to win out to play finals. They get the job done against your Bombers.
Okay, Sydney there for MG. And oh geez, this is a low game on the Sunday afternoon. Hawthorn and St Kilda. Hawthorn $2.12, St Kilda $1.69. The line 4.5, over under 157.5.
Yeah, this will be a painful game to watch. Hawthorn have just been disastrous this year. Only had 5 wins, 16th on the ladder. St Kilda are the worst team in the 8, probably the worst team in the top maybe 10 or 12 teams. I can't believe they're still 6 on the ladder. They've lost 4 out of their last 6. Only victories have come against West Coast and Hawthorn, 17th and 18th on the ladder. So can't come into them. I think this will be a low game. Pretty keen on the under total here. 165.5 was too much. It has fallen of 8 points at the moment. It's down to 157.5. So we've got our chips in the best of it. It's going to be an ugly watch. Probably wouldn't be watching it to see the final score. But, yeah, like the under. Head-to-head, 6 of the last 7 games have gone under between these two teams.
Thanks, MG. Okay, and to round it out with the worst possible game to be played on Sunday afternoon, West Coast and North Melbourne. West Coast 2.10, North Melbourne $1.70, line 4.5, over under 170.5.
I think the AFL should have hidden this game better and actually gone up tonight against the NRL of Brisbane and the Roosters and against the Matildas, just so no one could watch this. 18th v 17th on the ladder. They've won 3 games between them. They've both lost 16 straight. So that's where the stats ends for me. Can't bet in this game. All the money for North Melbourne early. This will be a terrible game, and I'm not sure who will win or who wants to win.
Well, maybe West Coast, so they don't have to lose Adam Simpson, although if you think of what we were talking about last week, we think it's all staged and they've just a professional throw. All right. So he's probably safe. Thanks, MG and Toprope. If you need the AFL stings, you can get that in the Little Birdie live TV shop at $25 a week. You hear him. He throws out the bets even a week early if they're there. So get the AFL stings and remember GGOA as well. That is a wrap for this week. Thanks for watching Thursday Lines. It's been a pleasure to be here with you. Follow us on YouTube. Remember to download our podcast everywhere you get your good podcasts from. We are Little Birdie TV on Insta and Twitter. Have a great week. Happy punting. See you guys.